the moment that you want better for yourself, you have to start expecting things to change. And it sounds like common sense, but common sense is not common. So with that being said, welcome back at your favorite mental health specialist, High Guidance. And that is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Now, with that being said, because there's no right or wrong way to heal yourself, always and only take what resonates as well as leave the rest. So if it doesn't apply, then that means it's not aligned, which means it is not for you, so don't force it. As well as grab your pens, grab your paper, and be prepared to take notes. For today's video, we're going to go over and discuss how your life will never be the same once you start to evolve, as well as some recommendations, some reminders, some disclaimers, and just certain things that you should be aware of. So starting off with the introduction, the first disclaimer is knowing that the moment you decide to change, or the moment it's time for you to change, you will not be able to do the things that you used to do. You will not be able to live the life how you used to live. So the second disclaimer is knowing and being okay with making room for what it is that you want to receive and what's for you, and being okay with letting go. Until you learn to let go of what no longer resonates with you, you will continue to feel stuck and stagnant and not move forward. So the third disclaimer is knowing that you're going to have moments where things are good, you're going to have moments where things are bad. It is not always going to be like that. You have to learn how to adapt in life. So therefore, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, or when you're going through obstacles, you can overcome them. So the fourth disclaimer is knowing that as you're going through life, it's really just so important to be present. It's really so important just to appreciate what you've learned, and to realize that if you weren't too, proud or too happy about certain things, that you can look back and you can look forward and you can appreciate what it was and learn from it. It doesn't always have to be one way. There's not one way to do anything, and it's just really important to just continue to be open about how you elevate and how you move forward. So lastly, before we get into the recommendations, it's really important to just understand how valuable your life is and how significant certain chapters are in your life. There is reasons on why you go through certain things, and a lot of times you're not able to see the bigger picture because you're meant to be in the moment. Sometimes you're not meant to have everything figured out because it's not your season for you to have everything figured out. And I'm going to say that again, and I'm going to write that down. Sometimes you don't have, and I'm writing it down in real time. Sometimes you don't have everything figured out because it's not your season to have everything figured out. And I'm speaking from experience. A lot of times we want what we want, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like, if we're not able to use the resources and the tools that we have to make it a reality, what could you do? Worrying is not going to change it. Being overwhelmed doesn't dismiss and take away from where you are and what it is that you're going through. So it's really important to learn to just live life and to work on your attachment, because that's the main reason why it is challenging and even hard and difficult for people. You guys know I don't like those words. For some people to elevate and do the things that they want to do and be the people who they want to be. Because it's once it's time for you to change, or something has to change, it's gonna change regardless. Change is inevitable, and that's the first recommendation when it comes to life. You don't have control over everything. And if you didn't know, now you know. And if you don't know, now you know. Playa, okay? If you didn't have control over what your name was going to be when you were born, your first, middle, and last, and the spelling and the pronunciation, and what you were going to look like, why do you feel like you're going to have control over 8 billion alleged other people, and the sun, and the moon, and the stars, and all the other things? And this is not to worry about all the wickedness and the evil and be like, well, there are people in the world. That's manipulation. That's not natural. When you have to manipulate people, that's not control. So let's not go there. But anyways, let's stay on topic. If you only had control over what you had control over, why do you feel like you need to have everything figured out? And why do you think that you're gonna I need you to start thinking rationally. I need you to start using that noggin and applying yourself. That's the first recommendation. The second recommendation, as you're realizing that you only have control over what you have control over and change is inevitable, is learning to realize why you have to go through what you go through. You see, you may have attachment issues. You may subconsciously have childhood trauma wounds. You may have abandonment issues. You may have insecurities. You may have doubts. in those seasons, in those chapters, when you're going through struggling and suffering, it's for you, for it to come up and to come out. But a lot of times, and I'm speaking from experience, sometimes when you're struggling and when you're suffering, you're too angry, you're too in your emotions, that you don't realize your emotions are trying to communicate with you. And that's a different topic within itself. Your emotions are trying to communicate with you when you're struggling and when you're suffering. But a lot of times you don't see it because either A, like you're used to struggling and suffering, that it's become normal for you, unfortunately, like dysfunction has become normalized, or it's like you may not know how. This is why I have these videos for you. So for those of you who are returning, thank you. Let me know what resonated with you. Make sure you're liking, comment, engaging. If you're new here, don't be shy, girl. Like, you already watched the video and you watch other videos, so like don't do that, okay? Don't do that. I'm not gonna bite you as long as you don't bite me. And even if you did bite me, I'm just gonna, okay, on your nose like a puppy. Don't do that, okay? Be there for people who want to be there for you. But for those of you who are returning, you're OGs, I love you, you are loved. Anyways, the third disclaimer: once you are aware of how certain things have been, affecting you in your life, and you're able to realize what's in your control and what's not, I want you to allow yourself to accept what was. Because it's like, when it's time for change, you did make certain choices. You did say certain things. You did react or respond. You did feel some type of way. You have to start using that as a reference. If you're gonna look backwards, or if you are going to hold on to who you used to be, it's simply for evaluation or to make progress or to improve yourself. There's no reason why you're comparing yourself to your past if it's not to see how much progress you made, or just anybody in general. You shouldn't be comparing yourself in general. Hopefully you guys not just hear that my stomach is growling. I need to hurry up because I'm hungry, and I need to end off this video. But like, yeah, and I'm trying not to get like too distracted, because this bright light, it's just so bright sometimes it makes me dizzy and I just lose my train of thought. But anyways, I'm trying to stay focused for you guys because my stomach just growled. I'm hungry, and you're like, well, why don't you just end off the video? Because this is important. This is so important. And this is why I've been telling you to like, comment, and subscribe, and stop being like scary, because it's like, girl or boy, whatever you are, knowing that even with myself making this video, who I used to be, what I used to do, it's no longer going to resonate with me. That's fine. There are certain moments in my past I've had to look back, like I said, just to evaluate, just to realize like, okay, how much progress I've made. And recently I've done this, and I am so proud of myself, because it's just like, a lot of times when you don't, like I said, have control over everything, which like most people don't when they're brought into this world, you do what you're told. And a lot of times when you're doing what you're told, you don't question it, you don't challenge it. Me personally, I always question, I always challenge. I've always been like that ever since I was little. So it's not hard for me, but it's like sometimes you have to challenge and question what's being asked of you. Like, if it's not helping you, if it's not bettering you, you have to learn to let it go. You have to learn how to do things differently. And that's all evolution is about, and you becoming the greatest version of yourself is just to do things differently. And of course, when you don't have the community, or when you never give an opportunity, or you feel like you never had the resources and experiences, you may automatically have this mindset of lack, or this mindset of pain and suffering. But that's one way to look at it. So it's just like, when it comes to your healing journey, like, no, I'm gonna be honest with you, when it's time for things to move, because I'm telling you, if you don't follow these rules necessarily, if you don't start getting it together, life will happen regardless. This is the warning. Like, so many people ask for signs and prayers, and I'm telling you from experience, warning always comes before destruction. And I'm not somebody who feels the need to just say stuff just to say it. And if you too were just as wise and had discernment, you realize warning always comes before destruction. There's always signs. It's just, are we going to take heed to them? Are we going to pay attention? Because I am somebody who doesn't believe in struggling and suffering in order to live life. And I know, because I have unfortunately experienced certain minute situations, inconveniences, that I don't want to continue them. Like, I don't believe that I should have to continue to be punished or suffer and struggle in order for me to be rewarded. Like, that is slavery, that is abuse, and it's dysfunction. And I have no problem calling out. It's toxic. And unfortunately, a lot of people are used to that, which this is why I make these videos, because I'm not here for it. I know that nothing in life is going to last forever. I know things are going to change. I know what I have control over and I know what I don't. And if not, you learn that over time from life, with yourself, with family, friends, coworkers, and etc. And just living life. Life is not promised. You'll be here one day, and before you know it, you'll be 60, 50, 10, 20, 30, 40, however old, and life will be different. And that's why it's so important, like I said, if you are going to look at your past, is to use it as an example or as a reflection or a milestone to realize what you've learned within the past years or the experiences that you thought were going to take you out. But it's like, once you elevate, you're not going to be able to do things the same way. So it's really important to learn how to let go. It's really important to validate your emotions. It's really important to surround yourself with people, lastly, who feel the same way. Once you start to make the necessary changes, everybody else has to go. You need to put people in their place in a respectful way. You need to have boundaries. Anyone who gets offended or is upset because you had to separate yourself, or you go no contact, or you no longer want to be around when they weren't doing anything for you, they didn't appreciate you, they didn't value you, they didn't care for you when you were there, doesn't matter. Let them say what they need to say. I do not care about how you feel towards me when you know you've done nothing for me and I was everything towards you, and vice versa. If you know you've been everything and people don't appreciate you until you're no longer there, leave them. You have to love yourself more, and that doesn't make you selfish. That doesn't make you a bad person, because a lot of times when people fall out with people sometimes, or when you outgrow people and you do better and they don't, they're so quick to talk about all the bad things you did, but they're not going to tell you all the good times that you were there. And me personally, I know what I've done for people. I know who I was in people's life. I know when I was in a right, and I know when I was in a wrong. So whatever narrative that makes them sleep better, okay, look at what they're telling versus look at where they are. That's why it's like when people be like, oh, it's two sides to a story, it's only one, but you have multiple narrators giving you this story. So with that being said, whatever questions, comments, concerns resonate with you, let me know. Let me know if you guys want a part 2, because I just started yapping, as well as follow me on all my social media platforms. All the information is down below. My stomach, it keeps growling. Like, I'm so hungry, and this light is super duper bright. As well as follow me on all my social media platforms. Information is in the description. If you're interested in a service in the session and you want like a more intimate vibe, click the description. If you're having technical difficulties, drop the word website in the description. If not, follow me on my Instagram and on TikTok. I'll go live talking about those things. But I love you. You're loved. Until next time, thanks for watching. Peace.